pattern for it. It was like, all right, it's go time, get it going. And I actually want to revisit it because like I've made that with hot glue and foam, which it works, but it's definitely harder. And some of the seams aren't as clean as I want. And then like you were there with the photo shoot, like it's not as mobile. And that was really like that. And when I wore it NDK after that, that was the only time I've worn it, just because it took a lot of damage trying to get into it and out of it. Yeah. So I really want to go back and do it some good justice. Probably maybe with Guyver 3.
That is going to be awesome.
Thank you.
Like, I just from the suit itself, like when I saw it for that photo shoot, that's... I know you said like the mobility is definitely restricted, and you can see that like when you're trying to move like just basic functions, like trying to take off the helmet, it looks like a struggle. But just the build came together so well. That's one of the awesome things about it. Is it might not work the way you want it to at first, but that's why you do this. To keep going.
Oh yeah, most
make
definitely.
It better next time, right?
Oh yeah, that's how I see different cosplays. Like, all right, I loved it, but let me see if I can make it better.
Exactly.
Like with Guyver, like mobility, I want the Mega Smasher to open. Yeah,
that's awesome. That is really cool. So I know we briefly mentioned your Spawn build right now, but what other projects are you working on right now?
So I have the Cyberpunk cosplay I want to make. It's just kind of a character.
Yep.
I guess it's kind of a character that more resembles me and who I am.
Yep.
So it has a little bit of that kind of reserved, recluse kind of introversion aspect, but also that futuristic, imaginative piece to it. So I'm playing with that to see how that's going to look in my mind. Maybe doing some sketching here and there. Then, of course, I have the Ninja Red Hood. I saw the Ninja Batman, loved it. I was a little frustrated with the design of Red Hood. He just had a bucket over his head, little straw helmet, which was cool. It was cool. Yeah. But I felt like he could have been like a really sweet ninja.
Definitely.
And so I'm kind of working on that right now. So those two are definitely like more in behind the scenes, but they're coming down.
That's awesome. Again, can't wait to see the finished product.
Thank you.
Yeah, because I know you do 3D printing for a lot of this stuff, right?
Yeah. So the Cyberpunk is going to have some heavy 3D printing. I've got a kind of like a mechanical exoskeleton that I want to do for an arm, and I want to rig up like a samurai shoulder piece to that.
Okay.
And then, of course, the face mask will be 3D printed or have some 3D print elements.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's actually really cool.
Thank you.
All right. So next question I have for you, what is your process like when you're planning a new build? I know that's like one of the questions that a lot of people hate as a cosplayer is like, well, how long does it take you to do that? So I figured I'll generalize it a little bit. So like when you're coming up with a new idea, how long does it take you to like plan out and map out what it's going to take to do that?
So it has like, it's that spark. So I call it that spark, where it gets that interest.
Yep.
That's when it grabs hold. If the spark is good and strong, takes hold, I run with it. And at that point, I'm searching for, hours and hours on Pinterest and other wall, DeviantArt, other like image sourcing or image hosting websites, and I just get all the source material I possibly can for that character. So like with Spawn, like I think I spent maybe 4 hours, it felt like. It didn't feel like that, but I guess looking back at the time, it was about 4 hours of just getting pictures and reference photos, different angles, different characters, different versions, and just pulling all that together and then sitting on it. And then going back through, flipping through those pages for maybe another week or two just to get a good vision of, okay, what do I want this character to look like? That's another 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks. And then after that, it's like, all right, where do I start?
Yeah.
Finding source images on, okay, what I want to do. So for the muscle suit, like for example, it was a good 2-3 weeks of just browsing through muscle suits hashtags on Instagram and on Pinterest and like how these people did their muscle suits, how I want to do my muscle suit, and different reference photos of like a build that I was going for.
Okay.
And then once I settled on that one, and that's when the first photo came of like the pattern of the muscle suit next to the character, the image of Spawn. And that was the start of it all. And that was, I think, maybe about a month in the work to get to that point.
Okay.
And then from then on, it's just when I can work on it, get some work here, there, and it just comes together.
That sounds exhausting.
It does, but like when you're in it and you feel like that urge, that spark, that inspiration, you just drive with it. And it hits random times. Like I'll be at work and I just have a thought like, oh man, this would be a dope idea. Yeah. And I'm like, I can't look right now, but maybe on a break I'll just scroll through Instagram or Pinterest or something like that to get that down, jot it down.
That's awesome.
Or I'll like type it in my Google search and screenshot it so I can come back to it later at home.
Okay. How do you stay motivated throughout that whole planning process? Because I know you said if that spark is like strong and it stays with you, then you go through it. But how do you keep that going throughout the planning process?
I think just coming up with different ideas. Not being stuck to one idea and just kind of rolling with it. So like, incorporating different designs. Like oftentimes people are like, what spawn are you doing? And I was like, my response is like, truth be told, I don't know.
I'm doing one of them.
Yeah, I'm doing one of them. And it's like, because I found like with my Samurai Batman that I just finished, I really hit a burnout towards the middle/end of it. And I didn't want to finish it.
Yep.
And it was like, oh man, I want to dive into Spawn because I felt that spark, that catch. And I was like, oh, I want to get into Spawn, but now I gotta finish Batman. Finished it out. It was all right. Like I'm okay with it, but I didn't feel like that passion to keep going with it because I was just sticking to what was there. There was nothing else like that, and so I was like, all right, I want to just stick to what this is. But with Spawn, there's so many different other character, or I guess versions of him that I can just, I like this piece, I like that cape, I like that weapon, I like this gauntlet, this shin guard, like all different aspects.
Kind of mix a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So that's when my cosplay comes in. Like I tell myself, like this is gonna be mine. This is my Spawn. And I think that's a huge piece for me in cosplay, is just kind of making it my own at this point.
Definitely. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, because like it sounds like you like to put your own twist on a lot of the cosplays that you make.
Yeah.
Rather than keep it like simple and its own thing. You give it its own little twist and several different pieces all together.
Yeah.
Which keeps things interesting, honestly.
I think so. Keeps it fresh.
Definitely. Because, I mean, there are a million people that are doing one thing, but there's always going to be that one thing that makes it unique.
Yeah. That's what I like. And it's like, I tell myself, like, in a build, like, I get frustrated. Maybe if something isn't coming together how I want it to be. I'm like, you know what? Just make it yours. Make it yours. Do what you can with it and do the best that you can do. And that's what matters. Like, try not to match this person. Do what you can do.
Yeah.
So.
That sounds awesome.
Thank you.
Like, again, the mind behind cosplay in general it's always been an intriguing thing for me because again there's so much that goes on behind it, and you're telling us right now this exactly, like the planning process, the building process. It gets very I would want to say stressful, but that doesn't feel like the right term. It just feels like it builds up a lot right away.
So it's meticulous. It can be stressful if you're in that con crunch, but if you don't like for me, since I don't do it for a job, it's a hobby. I haven't opened up commissions yet, which is a goal I think at some point. But there's no timeline for me, so it's just like, I'm gonna finish it when I finish it.
Yeah.
Like usually the timeline is like either IndieK or Comic-Con is like the big timeline, but it's a full year.
Yeah, definitely.
And I finished most of mine within the year, so
okay.
But
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was gonna say you have a Patreon, right?
I don't.
You should start one.
I'm thinking about it.
Awesome.
People you got a Patreon, you got an Etsy, like
because you just hit 9K on your Instagram, didn't you?
8K, yeah.
Okay,
8,100 and something. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even think I'd get that far. To be honest.
Here we are. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah,
just start off as a hobby.
Yeah, I would definitely say that. Like, I see Patreon's kind of making a comeback. And like the Patreon, Etsy. There's another one, Coffee. A whole bunch of other things and a whole bunch of other platforms that you can kind of get onto. So
you say that. I have a coffee. My buddy bought me my first coffee a little bit the ways ago, which I'm happy for. But yeah, no, it's something I'm definitely considering and looking into more now that I have like the following, people asking questions like, oh, you have templates for this and templates for that. And so like I want to give back.
Definitely.
Like a lot of what I've learned is just from seeing other people on their channels and like the how-tos, like the progress photos, and that's how I got to where I am now. It's just I rely on that.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm learning more. Like a lot of people rely on that as well. So I want to give back to where I came from.
Yeah, and that's a great idea. That's another reason why I feel like cosplay is like an underappreciated art form, because you don't get a whole lot of like a look behind the scenes for this kind of stuff, and that's why I think Patreon is a fantastic thing, because you have all of these cosplayers such as yourself that have all these builds that they're doing, and like you're doing it, it's just a hobby, and you have other people that are actually doing it like because they want to do this professionally. Yeah. And that Patreon helps to push people past that, going like from hobby to professionalism. And that's what I find amazing about this, is like we live in America. This is the land of opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I started this podcast, is I feel like right now a lot of people that are into cosplay aren't in it for the right reasons. You get a lot of people that are really huge into like the big name people, and they don't pay attention to the little guys. Yeah. Like, I think if I were to talk to somebody who knows very little about cosplay, the first names that would pop up in their head are probably like Jessica Nigri or Yaya Han, people like that. But if I were to ask them like, okay, cool, who's your favorite local cosplayer? not a lot of people have a response for that.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
That's one of the things that I want to get out there is like, especially with this channel, which I'm hoping I reach a broader or a wider audience, especially in Colorado, because I'm all about supporting local local artists and in general, and then especially with cosplay, because again, you get a lot of like stigmas and stereotypes behind cosplay, which kind of segues into my next question. What are some of the stereotypes about cosplay that you've heard, and how do you feel about them?
I think one of the biggest ones is with just race and ethnicity and even gender. Like, a lot of people get backlash. Even myself, actually, when I was starting off to build my Batman cosplay, and you get some haters on there like, "Oh, Batman's not black. You can't cosplay Batman. Like, he's white." And it's like,
see, now that's the funny thing. You can also use the argument, "Well, how can you tell? It's always dark."
Yeah, like what? Come on now.
Exactly.
So, like with that, and I think people get a lot of hate, and even are scared to cosplay certain characters because they may not fit that character.
Yeah.
Like body shaming, like, oh, you can't be a larger person and cosplay like a skinnier character. It's like, no, that's the character. Like, that is you being that character. Yeah. It doesn't matter what size you are, what color, ethnicity your background is. Like, you're that character.
Definitely.
And that's that. And I think at the start, that's kind of was my fear. And I think a lot of my cosplays have to deal with masks. And someone actually pointed out on my page, is like, why do you always have masks? It's like, it's a good point. Like, I know deep down why. It's just because I like to hide my face. Like, I like to be behind the mask, and I feel like I can express myself when my face isn't seen, because then I'm like self-conscious about it. Like, oh, they know my face. Oh, they don't know me, who I am, and all this other stuff. But then it's like, now where I've shown my face, like I've gotten out there, like this has helped me grow as a person and just being expressive and not as shy. But definitely those unfortunate stereotypes is like, you have to follow this gender, this race, you can't do this, can't do that, and it's frustrating.
Definitely,
very frustrating, because I see people get down about it, and it's like, no, don't, just do it, do you, like, forget them. They're just mad because they can't do it. Exactly. And that kind of brings me to like the conversation we were having earlier. It's like, cosplay is a community, but like every community, there are two sides of it, kind of thing. There's the side that's like us, where it's like, I don't care what you look like or what you're like, how you want to approach things. If you want to go cosplay like a Marvel superhero, but you don't look anything like that hero, who cares? It's something that you want to do. That's all that matters, is what you want to do. And I think like with DPCC that just passed, one of the things that I saw that made me really happy was the Thor Lebowski. That was awesome. Seeing a bunch of people walk around like in that cosplay. It's the easiest cosplay to pull off. This literally just robe, dirty wig, sunglasses, cut off like wool gloves. And you see a lot of people. I think I've seen a lot more people walk around as the Thor Lebowski, and confidently. And that was like one of the things that made me happy about this, because now people can't get body shamed for that. They literally fit that persona perfectly, and now those people are gaining that confidence that they were probably missing from before, to go out and do the things that they want to do. Because it's like you said, it doesn't matter if you're like overweight or way too skinny, black, white, Asian, whatever. If you want to go and cosplay as a Black Widow, but you're a 200-pound dude, do it.
Do it.
Yeah, like.
Honestly, it's probably more accurate to the insect itself. Exactly. Like, you never know what you can bring to the table.
Oh yeah.
And that's one of the things, like, back to like the types of cosplay there are, is like the gender bend cosplay. You don't have to be male or female or whatever you identify as to be that person, to dress up as that person. And even if you would rather be that person, put your own twist to it. I saw at least a handful, like a dozen people at DPCC this year dressed up as Harley Quinn that were mostly middle-aged men. And they didn't do a gender bend. All they did was they dressed up as the actual Harley Quinn costume from Suicide Squad. Which, some people might not like it, but who cares? They're enjoying themselves.
Oh yeah, that's like, for me, like, if you enjoy wearing the costume and if you're having just a good time, like, that's really what matters. Like, who gives a crap what any other people are saying about you? Like, if you deep down are like, I like this, I'm rocking this, you know what? Nah, I'm gonna go with it.
Exactly.
Then go with it.
The only thing that I wish was different about cosplay is if the costumes somehow managed to have air conditioning in them. Because the one time